morning, everybody. I want to take some time to give some encouragement and give a little bit of advice this morning. Last night I was reading the story of Samuel, and it was when Samuel had gotten older and his two sons that he had were not living according to God's law, not living according to that which the Lord had required of them. They wasn't living like their father. And because of that, the elders of Israel came to Samuel and said, hey, your sons are messing up. So because they are messing up, we want a king. We want a king like everybody else. All these other nations, we want a king. God told them, no, you don't need a king. And Samuel told them this, what the Lord had said. But they continued on crying around and complaining, wanting a king. And God said no. But eventually, God gave a word to Samuel. It was a warning. You want a king? Here's how this king is going to be. And there's a whole list of things that the Lord said. The king was going to be an evil king. And of course, we know the Bible was referring to King Saul. But this reminds me of a very important lesson. Sometimes that which we want, that which we have a longing for, is outside the will of God. And we'll pray and pray and pray and pray for God to give us what we want, because sometimes we act like spoiled little brats. But God tells us no, and we hate being told no. I know my children hate the word no. And then they will try to fight and complain and rebel against what I have to say. But I'm the father. I know what is best for my children. And that's what a good father does. He guides, leads, and directs the children. But it came to a point where God said, you know what? Fine. You want this? You want a king? Here you go. Now you got to deal with the repercussions of it. So sometimes we get so upset and we start yelling and complaining with God when our prayers don't get answered in the time we want or in the way we want. See, that's a trust issue. That's a faith issue. In Proverbs, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not on thy own understandings. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. But we don't allow God to lead us and guide us. We want to do our own thing, go our own way. And most of the time, that's outside the will of God, because that's man's nature, is to be in rebellion against God. That's been the way, excuse me, I dropped my phone going down the highway. But that's the way man is. We're always in rebellion against God, because that's the nature that Adam gave us. That's been ingrained in our DNA, so to speak. That mar, that scar, that stain of the original sin. So we're always in rebellion against God. And we hate it when he says no. But see, God allows things for a particular season. So this may not be the season for those answered prayers. It may not be the season for you to get that job you want, to find that love you want. It might not be the season for you to receive those things, because maybe you're not ready. Maybe you're not prepared. See, God opens doors no man can shut, and shuts doors no man can open. We got to remember that. So though we complain and we gripe and everything, we have to understand God is in control. He has the final say-so, and if we're leaning and trusting on him, he will work those things out for us. Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and those who are called according to his promises. So God tells us he will work things out. Not just some things, not just this, not just that, but all things work together for our good. As long as we love him, we trust him, we lean on him, that's what we have to do. So today, remember that. If God ain't answering your prayers, there's probably a reason why. Maybe it's not in his will. Maybe you're trying to do something outside the will of God. Maybe you are trying to do something that is not your season, not your time to do. So as we go into this Monday, this work week, I want you to remember that. Trust in God. Trust in His knowledge, His wisdom, and His understanding, and let Him lead, let Him guide, let Him direct. Love each and every one of you. God bless.